So I'm going to be doing a sketchbook tour, and the different thing or the unusual thing for me this time around is that I've been using like 3 sketchbooks, kind of like moving between them. So I wanted to show you what I've done in each of these. So this is the one that's the most complete and it's almost finished, but I'll just go through a little bit of what's in here. In this sketchbook, I was doing some practice like shapes and patterns so I could do some color studies, and you can see I didn't quite finish those. This was for one of our sketchbooks. This was for one of our prompts for the week for Patreon, and it was hens. Here I was doing some studies with different media to see how they looked. I actually meant to share this with Patreon, and so I'll probably do that now-ish because I completely forgot about it. But this was the water-based markers, this is acrylic markers, and this was gouache. And this one actually became our October sticker for the month. I think you might remember these studies that we did on my expressive sketching workshop that I had at our summer creative retreat. And we did some drawings of these eggplants, and we did the drawing of these pears. These were about using markers to quickly block in the shapes of objects, and then using pencil to develop textures and to really define the form in a quick and loose manner as an exercise for loosening up your process. These are from a live stream, I believe it was, with Katie Moody, and these were super fun. I did them while I was on my lunch break, and I really enjoyed them. I don't usually paint such dense spaces, so these were really challenging and really fun for me. This was a quick study that I used some markers that were gifted to me by, I want to say they're called like Altenew, and they were watercolor brush markers. I'm going to be very honest with you. They didn't really seem interesting to me. I didn't like the color ranges that they sent me, and you know, originally they sent them to me and they asked me, would you try them? And I said, you know, I'm gonna be honest, I'll try them, but I don't want to commit to like advertising them, because if I don't like them, I won't mention them. And so I held on to them for quite a while. I didn't open them until just recently, and I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of like them. Like, they do look really watercolory. The colors were a little strange, but this was a little trial with it. I'll share those markers with you here. They did bleed a little bit, but I do remember really kind of working that pigment, like just squeezing. They're like those little brush pens, so I was just squeezing and squeezing it, and then it really seeped through. And this, in case I didn't mention it, I did not mention it. This is a Talens art creation sketchbook, and it's got fairly thick paper. I tried to do this in the expressive sketching style, really quick purple and light blue to mark in the shapes for this blue thistle, and then some blue color pencil to define the form, add texture. This owl, I actually started it also with those markers. I want to say they're with the markers that they gave me, the Altenew ones. And then I used some color pencil on top of it and a little bit of Posca, white Posca. Okay, so that's all I have there. Now, this is an Ohuhu sketchbook. I got this a really long time ago and never really used it. And I started using it a lot recently, and I have to tell you, it is like one of my favorite books. For one, it's so chunky. Look how thick that is. That is a huge book. I don't know exactly how many pages it has in it, but I know there's a link to it in my Amazon affiliates. But this book is so chunky. There's so many pages, but it's also square. I really like the format for it. It has this nifty little elastic to keep it close, and I love a bookmark. I always need a bookmark in mine. It has a pocket in the back, and it also came with like a little like page, I don't know, this is like a page protector, so you could put it down under your drawing so it doesn't bleed through to the next page or something like that. So the paper is nice and thick. I really like this one. Okay, so just to start here, this was a commission I did for somebody who was going to do like, they wanted a tattoo of an oyster, so I did this one for them. And this you might remember from one of our workshops. No, it was from our club meet, and we did books and bookshelves. And that one was really hard. But I really like the results. I think that I love seeing these in here. Even this very simple one, just striped. I like that one quite a bit. And then we did more book drawings, and these were all timed. So they were like really fast, especially for the density of the images. And a couple more here. This one, I didn't even get to use color pencil on these. I just did watercolor. I think there was watercolor, or maybe it was gouache. And then these were some studies. I did some thumbnail sketches and a little bit of media studies for my 2 large paintings that I made for a local art show. And so these were just my practice studies. And then for my Patreon, I was going to make new like labels, and I drew these, but I haven't put them onto the Patreon yet. This was some practice for expressive sketching, just using different markers, trying different textures. Some thumbnail sketching for it was a workshop, or it was a meet, and it was about recipes. We were illustrating recipes. And I had tried it already. This was an example. And I tried this one with some really terrible and cheap gouache that I got at a dollar store. So then I did this Sophie McPike Scribble Brigade that she hosted. It was a live stream on YouTube. It was free and open to everyone. And it was all inspired by Barbie. So she had all these Barbie images and we were drawing them. I've never drawn them, but that was really fun. They were very short. Too short for me, actually. But I was really inspired at the end of that. And if you follow Sophie McPike, you just need to know she's like the most adorable. So I immediately joined her Patreon because I just wanted to do more of those with her. She has such a like infectious laugh. Now this is more thumbnail sketching, just quick little compositional studies. And then this was the one I actually completed with my patrons. We did, I want to say it was a Google Meet. So we were able to talk to each other. It could have been a live stream, but this one ended up becoming the sticker that I made for last month's Patreon reward. So that was really fun to do. And then I did another live stream where we painted hens. This one was so much fun. I think I should make a sticker out of that, but I'm not sure. Now this was another Sophie McPike live stream. I think it was a Scribble Brigade, or it might have been the one that was with her patrons. And it was really fun and challenging. I feel like I wasn't able to finish it. So this one was all like inspired by a curiosity cabinet. So there were lots of little things and little collections of objects. And I believe that she was doing some like cut paper, but I just drew everything in my sketchbook. So there were lots of images to choose from. I was playing with this black ink brush pen, and it made me remember why I love that pen so much. I love this kind of like dry look that it can create, very soft. And then here I incorporated a little bit of marker with the ink pen as well. I really like this spread. I don't know if I shared this one, but I really like it. Then on another day we did a workshop or a live stream, and it was all about squash. And this was with my patrons. So and one of the things I was trying to experiment with was color. How we could take the colors that we see and translate them into an entirely different color palette. So looking for the light colors and selecting a color just for that light one, and then choosing dark color for the dark, so that we were making just a direct translation, but with completely different colors. So a dark color with another dark color, and a light color with another light color, if that makes sense. So this one I really liked, and a lot of people really enjoyed this one. I chose almost like the CMYK color palette for this. And of course, layering them created new colors. So just really vibrant and bright and really fun. I like this one quite a bit. I should really make some stickers out of some of these squash. then we had a meeting, and it was all about granny squares and crochet. And again, because this month was September and we were studying colors and experimenting with colors, so I thought this would be a fun exercise because it's just so colorful. And one of the things I like to do is to put colors next to each other so that I can see how they look. These little squares are like individual color experiments, and that's how I kind of thought it would be valuable to me as an exercise, is just having an opportunity to lay the colors next to each other. These are very old drawings. This is from 2021. This is when I first bought the book. And I was just doing some gouache painting. Really love these. And I don't think I have a print of this one, but I do have a print of this one in my shop. This one was also gouache and color pencils. Color pencil, gouache, and color pencil. Gouache and color pencil as well. This one was a start and never finished. But I do really like these colors. They're really unusual. That red is something I wouldn't normally use. And that might be it for this book. Yep, I still have plenty of pages left, so onwards and upwards. And then last but not least is my Stillman and Birn Epsilon series. It is about 8.5 by 11 or 9 by 12. And it's definitely a great book for painting. The paper is nice and thick, but I think it's really good and appropriate for markers because it's so smooth. This was an odd orange Zoom meeting, and we drew chairs, so this was really fun. I tried to be a little bit more experimental with this one. I was using my acrylic markers, and then I was using color pencil and lots of negative space when I could. So I was trying to incorporate more negative space. And then this was just my markers. This was Tombow markers, nothing else. And this was during the summer. So we were doing on my Patreon, we were doing a lot of prompts that had to do with summer. And I don't know, I was just really, Barbie was about to come out, and this was all a vibe, you know, this kind of like very beachy, very playful and vibrant colors. So I was drawing a lot of images inspired by the beach, even though I don't actually like the beach. This was our prompt for that prompt in July was pool party. Or I think it was like, yeah, I think that's what it was. And this was one of my favorite drawings that I've done. And it was just, it's gotten a little kind of murky now from being set up against this one. But I did scan it, so I have a good scan of it. Although you really can't scan this. I mean, even the color doesn't really come through in the same way it does in person. This is fluorescent. These are fluorescent pinks. So they just don't have the same kind of light in them that they do in real life. So you can see more kind of beachy, Miami kind of scenes. I think we had a prompt for sunglasses, and then these were just, and these became a lot of stickers. I have stickers of all of these in my shop. I really like that this one was more like monochromatic. There's a little bit of a pop of color here, but lots of blue-green, lots of navy blue. Also inspired by the ocean. This was fun. I hadn't done something like this, which was pencil drawing. Again, more spreads of random objects just coming together. Try to stick with a similar color scheme all throughout. Kind of harmonizes all these very different, disparate objects. Now, this is a Katie Moody Patreon live stream, and it was all figures, and I hadn't drawn figures in a long time, so this was really fun, very fun. 5 minutes were our sessions. It was really cool. And then the images were so diverse. They were all over the place. Like, that was really fun to draw this one. This one was Sketch It Studio. I remember I struggled a lot with this. I hated it. I even put it there. I hate it. And I stopped early, but I really think I should have continued. This was from an Emma Carlisle and Sarah Dyer joint like video. They each drew the same things, and I watched that video and then tried to draw them too. Cars are hard to draw. This was wild. I don't know. I mean, this is something I would never draw. It was a picture with people putting a child in a car seat. Yeah, that was super hard for me. This was another one really, really hard for me. I don't know. I think I should try more of this. I also think I was using like really cheap gouache. I was using the Hemi gouache, and normally I like it, but it was really streaky this time. This one I did like though. Please excuse my dog. This one I really liked because of the colors, the orange and the blue together. Just really vibrant, that complementary color scheme. This one was also from Emma Carlisle and Sarah Dyer. This was just like one day when I was just doodling and watching YouTube. I just really wanted to draw and I didn't have any ideas. So I just was drawing whatever popped into my mind. Then we had a live stream with my patrons and it was picnic inspired. So these were some of the drawings that I did there. Oh, it was creative mornings. Oh, and then I came across a really great video about portraits, and I'm going to try to find the person who has this YouTube channel. It was, I mean, they're super talented, great artists. So I was watching them paint. I want to say they were painting with gouache, Philip Glass. So then I wanted to try drawing him too. More pool inspired imagery from that same month of July. And more books. This one I think was my trial before I had the workshop with my patrons, and I tried it a couple times and it was, I don't know, it was challenging. Please excuse my dog. She is in a mood. This was from one of our Patreon workshops and we were playing with gouache. So we did some layers. We did a really watery version in the background, and then we cut the shapes, like essentially kind of like cut them in by painting an opaque layer of a new color on top that helped those little watery bits to show through. This was from a book, The Art of Gouache, and I tried this exercise. I believe they used oranges and I did peaches. This one was also from The Art of Gouache, and it was a cut paper gouache still life. And this one was also from The Art of Gouache, and it was a like forest, mushroom forest. I don't remember what it was called, but it was something about mushroom, forest, foliage, something like that. This one was also from The Art of Gouache, and I was just kind of working through those exercises in there. Some of them are really, really fun. In general, like, I think it was just a really good, good exercise to do, but some of the imagery I didn't enjoy this imagery. Like, it just looks, I don't like drawing from imagination. I think that's my problem. I do think I need to try that more because it is hard for me. And I just feel like if we look back at that, I feel like my objects are really stale, kind of stiff looking. And it's because I'm not drawing from observation. I think I do better when I draw from observation. So those were really challenging to me. But I mean, I already knew that about myself. But I did take a workshop recently with a professor in a local college here, and he was talking a lot about the role of memory and imagination in drawing, and it really made me start thinking differently about that. So that's probably something for a different video. This one was also a cut paper collage from gouache painted paper. This was just a fun and goofy color pencil drawing. I never do that. I mean, it was fun, but I don't know about not using anything under. I do like some of this like texture, but I love that when you use a marker first, you're able to really like lay in that color. It does a lot of the work for you. Another cut paper collage made with gouache painted paper and some watercolor, or this might have been gouache little object studies. This was another practice for the book club inspired prompt that we had that week in July on my Patreon. And then we had a girl dinner. This was so fun. I still really love this drawing. The potato chips were the most fun to draw. And I think that's it for this book. Yep. So we have 3 books. They're all still in progress, but they will be completed. I think I'm going to complete them before the end of the year. So thank you for watching.